Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the POAP Report. I'm your host Mister Mojo, and this week I'm excited to talk about the news, projects, and communities in the POAP ecosystem. We have a big story starting us off this week. The ride to the Ethereum mainnet merge took another pit stop as the Goerli and Prater testnets underwent their merge to become a singular proof-of-stake testnet. This merge test was the final of 3 testnet merges used to help developers ensure that mainnet's merge is as smooth and successful as possible. Like the first 2 testnet merges, there was a live stream to watch the transition, and this time around it was hosted by David Hoffman on the Bankless channel, and he was host to a bunch of Ethereum developers, researchers, and community members. They waited eagerly for the total terminal difficulty to cross 10,097,000 and for the pandas to appear in the logs. And I have that moment pulled up right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pandas flashing across the screen.
I see terminal block detected.
So I think we decided that Nimbus had the best.
I see Panda.
Yay!
Oh, Panda! We're gonna have to up our Panda viewing game for mainnet.
That's
I really like
favorite
tech
part.
boosting.
We'll get some live pandas, and we'll
Hey, I
make
got
sure they're
one.
on the stream.
Well, while I am excited for those real life pandas to be on stream, to be a little more serious, this is another huge step towards the actual merge in September. And so to recap a little bit on how we got here, so initially we had the Ropsten testnet, and that event, it helped client developers fix some issues that they had with certain configurations of consensus and execution clients, which was to be expected. And for example, there was a bug where some client pairs, they would time out when building a block, and then they would propose that block with 0 transactions in them. And well, once those kinds of issues were fixed, Ropsten, it ended up seeing a 99% participation rate. And here's a tweet from Paratosh talking about that, saying, after the fixes were in place, we quickly saw the participation and proposal rates go back up towards 99%, about what we had pre-merge. And then we had the Sequoia testnet merge, and the only issues related with that testnet were some no configurations having artificially overridden TTDs being too high, and Paratosh also had another tweet about that, saying that after some config issues in the chain is finalizing, there were no client-related issues. One EF node had a hiccup during the transition, but it self-healed without intervention. Of a possible 95% participation rate, we are generally seeing 95% again, so pretty good. And then, of course, this time we had the Goerli testnet merge. And once the testnet switched to proof of stake, there were some delays with finalizing epochs. And Ethereum developer Marius, he had tweeted what happened. He had said in his tweet, "We finalized on Goerli. There was some confusion on the network because of 2 different terminal blocks and lots of non-updated nodes, so we didn't finalize earlier. We're still looking into what happened, but so far it's looking quite good." And then, of course, Paratosh coming in once again. He had posted a Goerli issue tracker. And so it talks about basically everything that needed to be fixed. It talks about how Nimbus was offline because they were using an older version of Geth, Lodestar. They didn't have proper configuration. Let's see here, I believe that it was talking about Besu incorrectly invalidating the canonical chain transition block and just other stuff like that. So if you're interested in this, I'm going to go ahead and post it in the description. And I also want to go ahead and take a look at the Goerli beacon chain data. See if I can have a good view on that. Looks like that looks pretty good in my screen share. So whenever this first went over to proof of stake, the participation, it was like 68%. So pretty much right at the threshold, but as of now, it's been the 80s. There's times where I see it crossing the 90% participation mark as well. And this is really good news going into the mainnet merge next month. And it's really exciting to see that this reality is coming closer and closer. Because with the switch to proof of stake, we're going to see a drastic energy usage reduction. There's going to be a reduction in ETH issuance, and really it's going to open the door for better scaling solutions and a whole bunch of other things that are much easier to accomplish on a proof of stake network. But of course, this testnet merge event would not be complete without POAP number 3 of 4 in the EthStaker merge series. And this time they were looking for donations to coincenter.eth, so sending $2 worth of USDC, RAI, DAI, ETH, or Matic on the 4 networks written here by the end of August 12th put you on the list for this event's POAP. And the choice to send funds to coincenter.eth comes after sanctions were placed on Tornado Cash. And David Hoffman, he explains why they made this decision. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you all.
Treasury banned Tornado Cash. And so now we have this whole, like, is open source software free speech, and is that worth defending or not? And I think everyone who's in crypto is like, yeah, we should totally defend that. And CoinCenter is the agency that is really like going after and promoting these ideas that open source software is a human right that we should not be able to ban. And so since in the spirit of Tornado Cash getting on the OFAC SDN list, I figured CoinCenter would be the appropriate place to donate to at this present moment.
You know what's frustrating?
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end that right there. So donations are going to help fight for open source software, which I think is quite a worthy cause. And now one of the other different aspects of the POAP this time around was the acceptance of the RAI stablecoin. And in an effort to encourage others to become familiar with the token, Ethereum Beacon Chain Health Consultant Superfizz, he went to POAPathon to commission a design for the RAI donor POAP, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that up for everybody as well. Such a great thing that Superfizz is doing over there. All right, so taking a look at the bounty, hey, I definitely don't envy the decision making on this because we have some fantastic art here, and let's go through it. So this is basically like some basics of what like the I guess the token's logo would be. And so you have some really great art here. Like, you just have the merging pandas, and so many people put in submissions. And like I said, I really don't envy having to pick one. I believe that he wanted basically some sort of golden trim around stuff. So a lot of these are like golden tokens, and man, people really went all out on these. Some super cool designs. I really like the panda lounging on this one. So cool. You got, I think this one, yeah, it's animated. Check it out. I think that's a little bit too much for POAP, but really cool nonetheless. Here, what else we got? Oh, man. It's like everybody came out with these gold coin ones. I think that they look so good. This looks really similar to the EthStaker challenge coin from 2021. In fact, this artist is the person that made my logo. So hello, Rio Reyes. Good to see you. Let's see here. This one has some animation on it. People talking. I mean, hey, this is such a hard decision to make. In fact, it's such a hard decision to make that when I scroll down to the end here, Superfizz, he actually added me. He wants me to put it into a community poll. So he doesn't even want to make the decision. He just wants the community to make the decision, which, like I said, really don't blame him. There's so many good choices to be made here. But this is a great 2-for-1 opportunity for POAPs, which is really cool to see. And remember that for the mainnet merge, there will be another POAP available. And the best way to know when the opportunity to qualify for that is going to be, let me go ahead and pull it up as well. So there's this website. I believe I have a good screen for that. Sorry, there we are. All right, so this is called BORDAO.WTF rather. And the mainnet merge, it's looking to take place on September the 15th, according to this. And it's really not an event that you're going to want to miss. Also, be sure to check out the Ethereum Foundation's YouTube channel, as that's where the event is going to be live streamed at. But guys, I want to know, did you qualify for the Goerli merch POAP? And did you donate with Rye? Let me know by tweeting me at the POAP Report on Twitter. Are you somebody that's also enriched in this environment and you want to share what you know? Be sure to tweet me at either Mister Mojo RS, that being my personal Twitter, or at the POAP Report with what you want to share with me. Who knows, your story could even be in the POAP Report. You could even be in the POAP Report. Who knows? Reach out to me again at Mister Mojo RS and at the POAP Report on Twitter. This past week, SporkDAO announced initial information about EthDenver 2023. They have updated their travel page with dates for next year's event, as well as information to help with transportation and lodging. So next year's event is going to begin with Build a Week on February the 24th, and the core event, it's going to end on March the 5th. And once again, they're going to Breckenridge for a mountain retreat. So EthDenver, it's the largest and longest running Ethereum event, with many calling it the Super Bowl of Ethereum events. And every year it's seen the Sports Castle as the place to be, but the new property owners wanting to redevelop the building, it made it time for SporkDAO to find a different venue to host what's expected to be the biggest year of attendance. And on this travel page, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to it. It states that EthDenver 2023 event venues will be concentrated in the River North District of Denver, along the Brighton Boulevard corridor, with most venues walkable within a few minutes. It will be easy to get to your next session, workshop, or community gathering. And so looking at the venues page, it appears that there are going to be plenty of places for attendees to move around to. So the Biddle-a-thon, if I can say it correctly, the Biddle-a-thon main hub, it looks to be at the National Western Complex, while the Biddle Week main hub is going to be at the Great Divide Barrel Bar, and there's also 6 other sub-locations listed here as well. So again, plenty of places for people to congregate and hang out this year for the event. And so going back to their travel and information page, they also have some deals through their lodging portal like they have in previous years, and they encourage booking as early as possible to get the best rates on hotels close by. And even in this page here, it gives some pretty good information on transportation options getting into the city. It even talks about different bus routes and things like that. They have a train. It even talks about being able to get a visa to be able to go. Now, as for right now, the registration, it is still closed, and it's looking to open up in October around DevCon time. But for now, you can go over to their main website and you can subscribe to their newsletter to be kept up to date when registration opens up, and other information regarding the event. I'm going to link this into the description so you can go ahead and sign up for that. And now one of the big things pushed at the event is building, of course, or biddling, as I've been trying to pronounce. And this year they have 5 tracks, which will each see a 15K USD minimum price pool. And so let me go ahead and get a good view on this for y'all. There we are. So here are the Biddle-a-thon tracks. And so you have the DeFi track, NFTs, gaming, and the metaverse. You have infrastructure, scalability, impact and public goods, DAOs, and community. And the sign-up information with this will also come later from my understanding, but really good opportunity to, hey, be part of the Buffacorn Brigade and biddle something and get paid while doing it. And so EthDenver, it's definitely going to be one of the places to be next year, just like it is every year. There's so much stuff that happens when it comes to EthDenver. There's so many things that happen and come out of it every single year, and really I don't expect it to be any different this time around. And not only did POAP start at EthDenver, but it's a perfect opportunity to acquire and give out POAPs as well. EthDenver 2022 was my first crypto conference at all, and Man, was it really fun. We were all so excited to meet each other in person and give out POAPs to each other. And I got to meet a lot of people that I was working with and get their POAP. I got to hang out with a bunch of developers on the POAP team. I got to meet founder Patricio and COO Isabel. I got POAPs for going to parties that I found to be an absolute blast and moments that I'm never going to forget. And this is also the first time that I had traveled that far west as well. I'd never been as far west as Denver at the time. And I remember being nervous to go there because I don't really travel a lot and I don't get on planes that often. And I remember arriving in Denver and just not being used to the altitude at all. Like my nose was getting really dry, my skin was getting really dry, and I found it harder to breathe and things like that. Especially since I was able to actually walk around the places. So not only was I guess, unfit in that way because I just sort of sit around in my home all day and look at my computer, but now I was also in a thinner air environment with less oxygen, so I really was huffing and puffing trying to walk around Denver at that time. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I was able to walk around the places, and it's something that I'm just not used to seeing or being able to do. And I also come from a warmer climate, so when it snowed heavily the day of my arrival, I was a little upset because I wasn't really prepared for that kind of weather, and I was so nervous about slipping and falling on ice. I was struggling to keep up with my group, but all that aside, it was so cool being able to go to a large venue with a bunch of like-minded tech nerds, basically. I was able to watch and listen to the leaders of Web3 talk about current innovations in the future of this environment that we all love. Next experience I'm looking forward to having again, and I'm definitely looking forward to being there next March. And perhaps we'll be able to exchange You Met Me POAPs together. Alright guys, real quick before we move into some POAP discourse discussion, I have a pretty cool moment that I want to share with you all. So last week, I had spoke about the NFT governance project Nouns.eth, and they recently had their Nouniversary, and they held an art contest that gave the winner 1 ETH. And so Nounish builder Bloomz, he decided to take Kimmy Duke's art from that contest and project it onto the side of a building in none other than Denver, Colorado. And check out the real life noggles that are on her face. Man, I'm not going to lie that I'm feeling FOMO from not owning a pair of those goggles. But check it out. Now, what a way to get the nouns out there. Just get a big projector and throw it onto the side of a building. I mean, hey, why not? But this isn't the only time that Bloomz plans to project nounish things. So he is part of the Lil Nouns, which is basically a more affordable way to be part of the Nouns community. I'm going to switch over to his proposal that he put in the Lil Nouns prop house. And so he plans to do a similar thing over at Crypto Connect and NFT Expo in Palm Beach, Florida. So in his proposal, he's asking for 1 ETH to fund a day of projection at the expo, which is on August the 20th. And he plans on projecting the Lil Nouns in different places around the event to bring attention to anything that the community wants to spotlight. And I think the stuff is pretty cool, man. It's fun to see what people are doing with these CC0 projects and getting the word out there about their communities. And of course, being part of the Nouns community is fairly easy because every single day you are able to go over to their Twitter space, which is hosted by Noun O'Clock. And there's a new POAP to acquire every single day as well. And it's one of the most welcoming and fastest growing communities out there. So be sure to check them out on Twitter. In an effort to give back to our community, us at the POAP Community Call are funding a contest in the POAP Discourse. So I want to begin by saying that as of this upload, or even as of this recording, it's August the 15th, and there is only about a day left to go to enter your submissions. So if you're just now hearing about this, then there's still a little bit of time to enter, but you need to do it as soon as possible. So now actually looking into this, so this contest is focused on historical moments commemorated by POAPs, and here is how you can participate. So first, you're going to want to pick 3 POAP events that you think are the most historical, and the interpretation of what's historical is up to you. You could look at POAPs on a macro scale, or even give POAPs that have historical meaning to you if that's what you wish. And then once you've chosen your 3 POAPs, you'll want to write a short article about them and post a link in the Google form provided in this Discourse OP. And then it's also asked of you to provide an article summary in the Discourse thread. The top 3 submissions will be awarded $50 in either Matic or ETH, and the funds are coming from the POAP Community College Treasury. And I'm really looking forward to looking at all the submissions provided and seeing what others consider historical POAPs. And I'll be sure to take a deeper dive into that next show. But for now, I want to talk about some POAPs that I believe and find to be historical. So the first POAP that I want to highlight, it's the EthDenver 2019 POAP. Let me go ahead and pull it up for y'all. So speaking of EthDenver, so as many are aware, POAP launched at EthDenver 2019, and this was the POAP given out during the event. There's even a really great Medium article that gives a retrospective on the events. And this is a pretty cool picture of biddling going on, everybody that was working on it at the time. And very interesting the way that they ended up giving out the POAP as well, because it says in this article that, quote, you had to open a Web3 browser and access EthDenver.POAP.xyz, which was a website hosted in the local Wi-Fi network, and it didn't work from the outer internet. So a pretty hacky way to be able to give out their POAP at scale. And this was the result of doing so. So pretty cool one right there. Next up, I have the Mandala testnet launch call POAP. And Mandala was the network, it was the testnet used to test proof of stake for Ethereum. And this launch call saw the early beginnings of the beacon chain and is one of 7 POAPs for the Mandala testnet, with the other ones being the staking clients that were available on the testnet, as well as a resuscitator POAP. And from my understanding with that one, there were some problems and hiccups going on with the network, and so people worked tirelessly in order to get it fixed, and the resuscitators got that POAP. But okay, moving on. The next one I have is the ETH2 Study Master Genesis POAP. And the EthStaker Study Master program is hosted by EthStakers Unvetica. It's a great resource to learn how to be a smarter and more prepared validator. So back then, you would sign up and take a 10-week course that broke down what was at the time being called ETH2, but now they just call it ETH like normal. It went into various topics like how the consensus mechanism for proof of stake works, what validators are, how to set them up, and things like that. And each week featured a quiz, and those who scored over 70% in every quiz, they received this POAP. And this one, it was given to the first cohort of the study masters, so a pretty cool one to be able to have in your collection. So the next POAP that I want to spotlight, it is the Beacon Chain Genesis Depositor POAP. And so this one, it went out to those who made a 32 Ether deposit into the Beacon Chain before its launch on December 1st, 2020. And those who earn this POAP can be considered staking OGs. Quite the impressive POAP to say you've earned and held. And it's crazy to think that now the merge is just right around the corner, and hey, this one went out to those who were there from the very beginning. So cool to see. So the next one I have on the list, it's the London Network, the Ethereum London Network Upgrade POAP. This is actually one of the first really big events that I was able to go to. Now, I didn't get the POAP. I didn't actually attend this event, but I was in crypto by the time that this happened, and it was like the first really big event that happened whenever I finally made it into the space. But this POAP was used to commemorate the upgrade to EIP 1559, which changed the way that fees work on the Ethereum mainnet. With the London upgrade, a base fee, which is used to burn Ether, was added to transactions, as well as a priority fee, which allows users to pay a tip to miners to prioritize their transaction. And it's this upgrade where ETH became ultrasound money, if y'all have heard of that. And it, like I was saying, it was one of the most highly anticipated upgrades that happened to the Ethereum mainnet network. So moving on to another one, I have the early issuers POAP. And this POAP went out to those who gave out POAPs during the early days of POAP's existence. And from my understanding, this POAP gives a special role in the POAP Discord, and it token gates some special content only available to holders of this POAP. It's pretty highly sought after, and I'm pretty sure that most people are familiar with it. Normally when I take a look at this one, I see it's for sale for like hundreds of DAI on things like eport.io and stuff like that. So definitely one that people seek out and want in their collections. And the next one that I want to talk about, next one on the timeline, I have the EthStaker presents official Rocket Pool mainnet launch. So this POAP commemorated the launch of Rocket Pool, a decentralized solution to staking less than 32 ETH on mainnet. There have been a lot of great POAPs that come out of the Rocket Pool community as well. And it's definitely a community that you should be part of if you want to banter about staking and the Ethereum ecosystem at large. Such a great community over there. Be sure to join their Discord. So another one I want to talk about. Many people are probably familiar with this one. This is the Adidas Originals POAP. And as I was saying, I think this one's quite recognizable. I also believe it's one of the first big entities to use POAP in order to promote their product. And hey, this was a big way for Adidas to make their mark as they took their first steps into the metaverse. From my understanding, this is also one of the more traded POAPs as well. I mean, look at how many transfers there are. I know there were 3,500 minted and over 4,700 transfers. Quite a bit, so I'm pretty sure that's like 1,200 transfers if I understand how the wording works. But one that was pretty monumental in having these big names come in and use POAPs as a way to reward users as well. I'm not exactly sure everything that they did with this POAP and how they rewarded everybody, but from my understanding, they have used it for certain things. So pretty cool to see that. Definitely one that, from also what I understand, people have tried to counterfeit and mimic, but the curation body doing their job and stepping in the way of that. But okay, guys, I have one more POAP that I want to talk about. And by now, we're going to be entering into the current year of 2022. And while I know for sure that there's plenty of POAPs that we're going to see be historical come out of this year, I do want to end my list off in 2022 with a POAP that's very personal to me. And so the final historical moment I want to look at. It's the very first POAP community call. And so back then we were named the POAP Curation Community Call, and it was hosted by Superfizz, Colfax, DeFi Dude, Tap, and me. And it coincided with the creation of the curation body. And it was basically a community call that was leading a discussion about how to properly use POAPs and things like that, how to issue them and stuff. And nowadays, really it's transformed into the best place to hear community discussion just around POAPs in general. It's really crazy how much the call has grown and changed over time as well. As for me, I was originally placed on the call as a person who could record and upload the discussions to YouTube, but over time I was able to get more comfortable, and I ended up taking over as the main organizer of the call. And it makes me really proud knowing that I'm involved with so many great people who are able to make this project that we share and give to people every single week. There's so many people, they look forward to it. I look forward to it. I'm sure that everyone I work with looks forward to it as well. Such a great time, and be sure to join us for that every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time or 2300 UTC in the official POAP Discord, and we give out a POAP every single week. And in fact, the announcement of the winners is going to be on the next POAP community call, so how about you join us then? But anyway, guys, these are some examples of POAPs that I believe are historical. What do you think of my list? Be sure to post a comment down below, and be sure to post your submissions in the POAP Discourse. Be sure to join my friends and I for the POAP community call every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It's one of the best ways to hear about what's going on in the community with discussion of what's happening, as well as listen to guests talk about their time in the POAP ecosystem. It's even a great way to earn a POAP for your troubles. See you in the official POAP Discord. Link in the description. Have you ever found yourself wondering which POAP mint links for your event still need to be claimed? A few weeks ago, POAP developer Mentor, he posted a tweet asking for suggestions on a tool he can make for POAP, and that tweet led to the creation of Poap.codes, a tool used to check the status of mint links. So in his announcement tweet, which I'm going to go ahead and pull up for you, he gave the opportunity to earn a POAP for beta testing the project. The deadline for this was August the 5th, so the window to earn the POAP has passed, but I do want to give a small demo of the project because I find it so useful. And so for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to use an expired event, so sorry if there's no getting past me when it comes to minting POAPs that you shouldn't be minting. So let me go ahead and pull up the actual website here. All right, so let's say I'm giving out a POAP, and I need to know which mint links I'm still able to give out. With a tool like Poap.codes, I can select the links text file that I was given from the creation body, and I can quickly check which ones are still available. So let me go ahead and click on my choose file here. Let me select an old one. Let me pick this one. All right. I believe this is one of the old community call POAP lists, and it's quite large, so it is going to take some time. When you have smaller events, it's fairly fast, but whenever you have a larger event, it does take a little bit of time. So while we wait for that, just want to say this is really cool. You know, the inspiration came from, as I was alluding to, a tweet that Mentor had made a few weeks ago. All right, there we go. Yeah, he had made a tweet a few weeks ago saying basically that, hey, he was itching to create something and he needed some ideas. And one of these suggestions was, how about something that checks which claim codes I still need to use? But all right, so here is our list. So we scroll down. Now for this instance, it's going to say expired. But normally, if you're, I should say, if you're going to use this normally, you're going to put in your event, and it's going to say status available. So here, these are all probably expired. Let me click in. Here we go. All right, so the ones that are claimed, here you go. You have a little red light, and it says that they're claimed. And if they're still available, there will be a green light, and it'll say available. Now again, this event is expired, so it says, pardon me, this event is expired, so it's going to say expired. Now I do want to copy the claim link here. I want to click on this because what you would do, say you're trying to give these out manually, you're like, okay, I can still give this one out. You can click on this, and then there you go, it's in your clipboard. You can just go ahead and toss it out to someone. Now, if I were to actually go to this, it should say that it's expired. But yes, now this was a working link. If it still worked, it would allow me to input my address like normal. So really cool. And then also, one of the really cool things that I like about this too, you can actually look at the transaction. So I went ahead and copied that to the clipboard. Let me copy and paste it in here. And so, as many know, POAPs are actually minted on the Gnosis chain, and how to look at transactions on that is through BlockScan. So whenever you mint a POAP, this is a transaction that happens. So way back when, this is the information about, hey, which POAPs pardon me, about the POAP that was minted here. And so I had spoke earlier, if you had used this tool prior to August 5th and you showed Mentor, he would give you a POAP for your troubles. And I have that POAP right here. Definitely one that I'm glad to have in my collection. Now, I do want to give a little bit of feedback on this. One of the only things really that that I haven't noticed, maybe I'm just overlooking it, but I think that one of the cool things that you could do is if you could get your new list. So, you have all these available. If you could just get a list and that's like your new text file. So you could feed it into other distribution methods like Mentor's Magic POAP QR code dispenser or whatever it's called. Sorry, I definitely butchered the name on that. Or, you can put it on your IYK device. You can put it wherever you need to put it. That's really the only thing I can say that would be nice. Maybe finding ways to make it a little faster on the bigger events, but it's understandable that it's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, it's trying to check every single claim code, so I don't really fault him for that. But hey, finding ways to make that faster would be great. And like I said, finding ways to get your new list up, unless I'm overlooking it, would also be amazing as well. But this is just a beta. This is something that he threw together through inspiration on Twitter. So really cool to see this come to fruition. Definitely something that I plan to be using in the future. And what do you guys think about this? Is this something that you would find helpful? Let me know what you think in the comment section. I have one final story for all of you this week. GitPOAP is something I mention on here from time to time. And today I want to talk about an accomplishment they were able to recently hit. So for those hearing of GitPOAP for the first time, let me give a quick explanation of what it is. So a GitPOAP is a POAP but with a small twist. These GitPOAPs are minted through the GitPOAP platform and are rewards for contributing to open source projects' GitHub repos, which are listed on their website. I'm going to go ahead and show that to y'all. So as of right now, there are currently 617 repos and counting, and they're onboarding new ones all the time, so be sure to keep an eye on this list to see if there's anything that you could perhaps contribute to and get a GitPOAP for it. But the point of these GitPOAPs is to help form a professional resume using POAPs. And you can also create a profile which allows you to feature any POAPs that you wish. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click onto my profile that I have on here. So these feature my 2 GitPOAPs from contributing to the Wagyu tools. It also shows me, it also is me showing off some of the more, I guess, prestigious POAPs that I've been able to acquire over the last few months, or at least whenever GitPOAP came out. I haven't updated this in a little bit. Maybe I should go through that and do it. But either way, these are still some POAPs that I'm really proud to own. One of the common topics that I see appear all the time in Web3 conversations is the desire to be able to build on-chain identity. And the POAP protocol, it's been used to help promote early versions of Web3 identity. And platforms like GitPOAP, I believe that they're crucial to helping take the next steps when it comes to forming it. Being able to have a platform that rewards users for contributing to the growing Web3 ecosystem is big as well. There's going to be people who end up getting really good jobs because they were able to prove their abilities with GitPOAPs. And honestly, I wouldn't doubt if that's already happened. And so with the amount of GitHub repos being onboarded and the amount of people contributing to open source software, I want to show off that GitPOAP, they were able to mint 1,000 POAPs. And it's great to see, or I should say GitPOAPs. They were able to mint 1,000 GitPOAPs. It's so great to see that GitPOAP, they've been able to grow, and they've only launched a few months ago. So congratulations to Colfax and his team. They really are helping pave the way for how to reward builders and contributors to important projects in the ecosystem. And I'm certain that this is just the first of many thousands of GitPOAPs that are to be minted. But guys, I want to know, do you own any GitPOAPs? Show them off by tweeting me your GitPOAP profiles to the POAP Report on Twitter. All right, everyone, it's about time to call it a day for this week's show. I want to thank you for supporting my content by watching all the way to the end. If you want to give more support, how about you hit like or maybe even subscribe to the channel? I post a show every Monday, and I upload the best segments as standalone videos throughout the week in case you don't have as much time as you had today. And another big way to support me is by following me on Twitter at the POAP Report. And be sure to send any news stories into my Twitter DMs. But everybody, as always, thank you so much for watching another episode of the POAP Report. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.